So we're really trying to build tomorrow's grid to power your life. So we're going to start off with a brief video on the history of electricity. I think it kind of sets the stage of where we started and where we're headed as a utility. So,
on the afternoon of September 4th, 1882, Thomas Edison turned a switch at the Pearl Street generating station in New York City and energized the world's first large electricity system. The Edison system provided enough energy for 800 lights. While electric energy always existed in nature, the Edison system discovered the opportunity for energy generation to be done at an industrial scale and at a distance away from where that energy is consumed. The speed of electricity flow is about 300,000 kilometers per second. This means that once an energy source is transformed into electricity through a wired network, it can move through communities, provinces, and across countries in a matter of seconds. In New Brunswick, business people were not long in realizing the potential of this new and revolutionary technology. Less than 2 years after Edison turned the switch in New York, the city of St. John became the first place in New Brunswick to have commercially available electric power. Over the next 30 years, more than 20 organizations were in business producing electricity in the province, providing electricity for heating, lighting, streetcars, and so on for citizens, businesses, and city services. After the First World War, there was a public sentiment in New Brunswick that light and power were necessities of life and were therefore the responsibility of the government. The government of Premier Walter E. Foster agreed and enacted the New Brunswick Electric Power Act on April 24, 1920, which established the New Brunswick Electric Power Commission, which we now call NB Power. Since then, NB Power has taken on large-scale projects related to energy generation and transmission systems. Energy generation projects like hydroelectric dams, coal-burning plants, a nuclear power plant, and more recently, wind, solar, and battery installations have helped supply electricity for citizens across New Brunswick. As our electricity demands change, NB Power has adapted to meet that demand. As people moved to different regions of the province, power lines and transmission centers were installed to transport electricity to different areas. The entire system that is run by NB Power is referred to as the energy grid. The grid consists of generation facilities and transmission and distribution systems that provide reliable and affordable electricity. Right now, we're in a period of transformation where NB Power is working to transform the energy grid into a smart grid and achieve a net zero emissions energy generation system. With a smart grid, NB Power can monitor power flows from where the power is generated to where it is used, all in real time. This transition will allow more precise communication and access to information to operate more efficiently and provide better services to New Brunswickers. With the net zero carbon emissions energy system, NB Power will be reducing the amount of pollution that is produced through energy generation. This means finding new ways to meet the energy needs of the province, even on the coldest days of the year.
So in that video, Jess, a colleague of mine who is doing all the talking, she's really explaining how we've evolved at NB Power and how our needs are changing and our customers' needs are changing. So we need to be able to respond to our customers' needs, and we need to evolve as a company because we have targets that are being set by the federal government around net zero energy, and today we have a one-way flow of electricity. We produce electrons, they go out, and that is all we know, right? So we need to be able to evolve and have that two-way communication, understand how the energy is flowing to and from the grid, and be able to allow energy to flow to and from the grid. So customers who want solar and other kind of renewables, they need to be able to integrate into our system. And so one of the foundations to that is smart meters. So smart meters allow us to have that two-way communication. So our meters today, they do not talk to us. We do not talk to them, right? They record energy consumption, and that is really all that they do. And smart meters are really the basis of that two-way energy flow. They're at the very, I guess, edge, we call it grid edge, right? So it's the very end of the grid on every home. And then we have a sort of a pulse on how the energy is flowing, the voltage on those lines, and it gives us a lot more information and the ability to manage our system better. So from a modernizing the grid perspective, we're upgrading our aging infrastructure to prepare the system for increased renewables and two-way energy flows, like I said. And we are trying to digitize our system and our assets to utilize the analytics. So for example, the data, like I said, that comes from smart meters, it will allow us to manage that energy flow and be more efficient. It'll also give us more information about power outages, when they happen, where they happen, and things like branches tapping on a line. We're going to get notification that something's going on. We can see that on the system. And so smart meters and that infrastructure, they provide that information for us. And so, like I said, the investments in smart grid technologies, including smart meters, they really lay the foundation for long-term benefits for the utility and for the customer as well. And we'll get into some of those next. So what are some of the benefits of advanced metering infrastructure or smart meters? So I'm going to start, I guess, on this corner with more efficient power restoration. So I think customers are really interested in that. So today, folks might not realize it, but when you lose power, we don't know. So MB Power doesn't know. If your power is out, if you don't call and tell us, we don't know. The only way we do know is if it's like a major line that's been broken and we have visibility to that, then we would know. But without customers telling us, we don't know that you don't have power today. With the smart meter, we will know. We can see that there's no power at a premise, and we can go and investigate that. So we will know before you call us. We still want you to call us, but we will know that there's a power outage. Today we have outages, and we think that we have restored everybody in the area, but there may be one or two customers that have not been restored, and we don't know that. So we've had customers call in and say, everybody on my street's been restored and your crew has left, and we still don't have power. Well, we won't run into that in the future. We will know, we'll be able to see that every house has been restored, and if not, the crews won't leave, and they will continue their work until all the restoration is done. Now today, when we leave, that means we've got to come back, right? So we're rolling trucks, and that costs money, and so we're going to be able to reduce all of that extra work. So we're going to have more efficient power restoration and more reliable service. So today, we spend a lot of time and truck rolls to disconnect and reconnect customers when they move in and out of different houses or apartments or whatever. So today, if you're selling your house, you're going to call MB Power and say, I need a disconnect on this date. We have to drive a truck there, get the meter reading on that meter, disconnect the power, and then when somebody moves in, they call us, and we have to do the same thing. We go, we reconnect the power. With a smart meter, we don't have to do that. We can turn the power off and on and get the meter reading from our head office in Fredericton. So we're going to have less truck rolls, and all of that will contribute to a lower carbon footprint, right? So if you're not rolling trucks, you're not burning fuel, less emissions, and it's going to contribute to a lower carbon footprint. And it also provides for new energy solutions to power your life. So like I said, if you want solar, today we do have bi-directional meters that we can provide. They're way more expensive than a smart meter, but with the smart meter, it provides that bi-directional capability. And so, if you have solar and you want to still be connected to the grid, to have that backup power, it's a lot easier with the smart meter. So I just want to talk a little bit about our deployment schedule. So we are deploying meters across the province in 3 areas. So we're doing one area first, and then moving to the second, and then the third. So we started in Area 1, which is the western half of the province, in 3 districts: Grand Falls, Woodstock, Fredericton, and St. Stephen. So we started mass deployment in that whole section, the dark blue section of the province, on November the 1st. And we have, I guess we call them boots on the ground, right? So installers in all 4 of those regions. We have 4 in Grand Falls, 4 in Woodstock, 4 in St. Stephen, and then 12 in the Fredericton area. And they are currently out installing the smart meters today. We expect the whole province to be done within a 24-month period. We're expecting to move to Area 2 by the end of this summer. So I just want to talk a little bit about the customer notification process. So I know in Hanwell we have already installed some smart meters and we still have more to install. This is our process, the way it's intended to work. So I am aware that there have been some customers that did not get the notifications the way that we intended it to happen. So I'm just going to walk through the communication process that we expecting to have with our customers. So 1 month, I guess 1 to 3 months prior to coming to a community, we're having a stakeholder engagement with the community. So we're reaching out to mayors and council and letting them know that we're going to be in their community installing the smart meter. Then 1 month prior to us coming to your home, you'll get either a letter or an email that lets you know that within the next month, somebody will be at your house to install the smart meter, and it talks about all of the benefits, and if you have any questions that you can call and speak with our customer care agents. Then a few days before, or I guess a week before, you get a dialer message. So we're sending out a phone message to folks to let you know that within the next week or so, somebody will be in your area installing meters. And then the day of the installation, the installer will knock on your door, let you know that he or she is there to change your meter, that you're going to have a brief power outage. It's only a couple of minutes. They will change the meter, and then when they leave a door hanger to let you know that your meter has been changed. And then within the next day or so, you'll receive what we're calling a post-transactional survey. So we want customers' feedback on their experience with getting a smart meter. So you receive your post-transactional survey, and you can provide feedback on your experience and let us know if there were any issues, if you didn't get the communications, or positive feedback, or whatever feedback you want to provide. So when we first started deploying smart meters back in November, as you can imagine, this is a big undertaking for NB Power. So this is the first time, probably in the history of the company, that we're going to touch every single customer. So over the next 24 months, we are going to have an interaction with every single customer in this province, which is really unprecedented, right? So some of these processes have had some kinks in them. So as we're trying to, get this all sorted, and we are working with an external vendor to do the actual installations, there have been a few hiccups in the process. So we are aware that some folks did not get these full notifications. That was not our intention. Unfortunately, it has happened, and we have done a lot of work to improve that process.
And at this point, we'll now show some common questions and answers. If you have a question that is not answered on these slides, please reach out to NB Power at the number that is shown at the end of this presentation. Thank you.